Kansas.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that I may proceed for 10 minutes as if we were in morning business.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to act as the acting presiding officer as my colleagues across the aisle are boarding buses and leaving town, and I appreciate very much your courtesy. Mr. President, I rise today to honor the hard work and the dedication of our men and women in the United States Army and all branches of service. But just a couple of weeks ago, I had the pleasure of attending the uncasing ceremony at Fort Riley, Kansas. It was an honor to me. For those who have not attended an uncasing ceremony, it symbolizes a homecoming, and certainly that was the case at Fort Riley. It signifies the presence of the command and the resumption of that command's authority. And it offers a time to reflect on the heroic efforts and the leadership and the men and women of the Big First. Since returning to Kansas in 2006, the 1st Infantry Division's headquarters deployed to Iraq. But this was not the first time the division has uncased its colors at Fort Riley. In fact, this was the 5th time in 55 years. During their time in Basra, Iraq, the men and women of the Big Red One assisted in completing many vital projects. Approximately 850 soldiers deployed from Fort Riley in February of last year. The division's efforts were supported by other services, obviously, and also government agencies. The mission was more offensive than defensive, a change for the men and women of the Big Red One. To quote Fort Riley's outstanding commanding general, Major General Vincent Brooks, quote, "The Big Red One, as U.S. Division South, was a trusted partner to the Iraqi security forces, to 9 U.S. provincial reconstruction teams led by the U.S. Department of State, with participants from other agencies of the U.S. government and to other U.S. Forces in Iraq. The Big Red One ensured that the hard-earned stability emerging in Iraq would remain stable. Their success was our success." So the accomplishments of the Big Red One are numerous and merit the attention of my colleagues. The division assisted Iraqis in completing the Basra Children's Hospital, a cancer center noted as one of the most modern facilities in the Middle East. And I was fortunate to spend time after the ceremony with about 30 soldiers in the unit. One non-commissioned officer's experience in particular stood out. I asked all of them how many deployments that they had made to Iraq, or for that matter, Afghanistan. And the answer was 2 or 3 or 4. This non-commissioned officer had 5 deployments. And I asked him what on earth was wrong with the deployment situation in his case. He said, "Oh no, I wanted to come back to my unit. I wanted to come back to the Big Red One. I wanted to come back to Iraq and continue the work that I thought was so important." And I asked him what the difference was, and he said, "Well, when I was here first in Basra, we lost 9 in our unit. 9 paid the ultimate sacrifice. And in this deployment, no shots were fired." If there ever was testimony from somebody in the front line, somebody who, obviously the NCOs do really run the Army, with all due respect to the officers, but this NCO officer pretty well summed it up. First deployment, 9 fatalities. Last deployment, no shots fired. I am truly grateful that all of the soldiers deployed from the Big Red One's division headquarters this time around returned safe. Mr. President, I submit General Brooks' full comments for the record. By the way, Mr. President, General Vincent Brooks, you remember that name. He will soon be receiving his 3rd star. He will be reassigned to the Central Command. Anyone that knows General Brooks and his wife, Dr. Carol Brooks, is not surprised. This promotion in the new command comes as no surprise to anyone in the area, especially the people who served under General Brooks and has had the privilege of knowing him. Simply put, he is an inspirational leader with an outstanding record. From the Kansas Congressional Delegation, General, well done, sir. You will be missed, but our pride in your success and your future success and the job you have done and the job you will do make us all proud, pride that we all share. Mr. President, I would ask that the General's remarks be inserted in the record at this point, and I yield back the balance of my time.